continue with Ajahn Chah's teachings. Everything arises, everything falls away. And the chapter is called Understanding Dukkha. When dukkha rises, we call that suffering. When it ceases, we call that happiness. It's all old stuff, arising and ceasing. We're taught to watch body and mind arising and ceasing. There's nothing else outside of this. We recognize suffering as suffering when it arises. And when it ceases, we consider that to be happiness. We see it and designate it as such. But it isn't. It's just dukkha ceasing. Dukkha arises and ceases. Arises and ceases. And we pounce on and grab hold onto it. Happiness appears and we are pleased. Unhappiness appears and we are distraught. It's really all the same, mere arising and ceasing. When there's arising, there's something. And when there's ceasing, it's gone. This is where we become confused. That is taught that dukkha arises and ceases. And outside of that, there's nothing. We don't recognize clearly that there is only suffering because when it stops, we see happiness there. We seize on it and we get stuck there. We don't really know what's going on, which is just arising and ceasing. The Buddha summed things up by saying that there's only arising and ceasing, and there's nothing outside of that. This is difficult to listen to. But one who truly has a feel for the Dhamma doesn't need to depend on anything and dwell in ease. The truth is that in this world of ours, there's nothing that does anything to anybody. There's nothing to be anxious about. There's nothing worth crying over, nothing to laugh at, nothing that is inherently tragic or delightful. But such is what ordinary people for people. Our speech can be ordinary, relating to others according to the ordinary ways of seeing things, and that's okay. But if we're thinking in that ordinary way, that leads to tears. We really know the Dhamma and see it continuously, nothing is anything at all. There's only arising and passing away. There's no real happiness or suffering. Then the heart is at peace. When there's no happiness or suffering, when there's happiness and suffering, there's becoming and birth, meaning ceaselessly transformation. We're usually trying to stop suffering to give rise to happiness. And that's what we want. But what we want is not real peace. It's happiness and suffering. The aim of the Buddha's teaching is to practice to create a type of karma that is beyond happiness and suffering. And that will bring real peace. But usually, we can only think that having happiness will bring us peace. If we find some happiness, we think that's good enough. Thus, we humans wish for things in abundance. We get a lot, that's good. Generally, that's how we think. Doing good is supposed to bring good results. And we get that, we're happy. We think that's all we need to do, and we stop there. But can good experiences give us lasting satisfaction? It doesn't remain. We keep going back and forth, experiencing good and bad, trying day and night to seize on what we feel is good. So the Buddhist teaching is that first we should give up evil, and then we practice what is good. Second, he said that we should give up evil and give up good as well, not having attachment to it, because that is also one kind of fuel. When there's something that is fuel, it will eventually burst into flame. Good is fuel and bad is fuel. Okay. Understanding dukkha.